D23, the biggest Disney event for all Disney fans ever. The biggest day for Disney as it showcases the new additions coming to the theaters, their streaming platforms, and the parks themselves. And although this year kind of felt a little light, there was a lot of stuff for us to look forward to. So we're going to break it down into three parts: entertainment, the parks, and the cruises. Let's start with entertainment. We got an update into Toy Story 5 about the more characters, a bit of the story, everything in between. The story, as we know, it's going to be the toys versus technology. And we found out our main villain, Lilypad, the iPad that Bonnie's playing with that is making her slowly forget about the toys. They also showed more footage about the malfunctioning, defunct Buzz Lightyears that are washing up on that island, and shows them banding together to make a raft and make their way inland. And frankly, I'm a little tired of them making my boy Buzz the bad guy. I'm a huge Buzz Lightyear fan. I'd like for him to be the bad guy only once. Toy Story 3 worked, but I mean, we're good. We also found out who Conan O'Brien is playing. He's playing Smarty Pants, a potty training toy. What is a potty training toy? I have no clue. But we did finally know who Conan is playing, and I'm very excited to see his role in the movie. So while Pixar was talking about the sequels releases, they also wanted to remind the public of their original film releases happening around the same time. And the first one being the newest original movie, Hoppers. The story follows Mabel, who puts her consciousness into a robotic beaver and helps unite all the animals in the animal kingdom to help stop the real estate agent development, which is hitting theaters March 6, 2026. So in other words, it's Pixar's Avatar. And they even make a joke about that in the trailer, so at least they know. So the current lineup for 2026 is Hoppers, March 6, 2026, and Toy Story 5, June 19th, 2026. But then in 2027, we have a new Pixar theatrical release, Gato, directed by Enrico Casarosa. He did a movie a while back called Luca, and I think that movie is greatly underappreciated. It is a perfect summer film for Pixar. And the story as of right now is pretty simple. It follows a black cat that lives in Venice and makes an unlikely bond with a street artist. Not a lot being said about the movie, but I do like this premise of it kind of just exploring more of the streets of Venice. It's a really great setting, and I think the guy really did a good job with Luca, so I'm excited to see what he does next. And then after that, Pixar does lean heavily into the sequels with Incredibles 3 and Coco 2. No theatrical release date as of yet. We do know that Peter Sohn is attached to Incredibles 3. I think that's a good choice. But outside of Gato, Pixar doesn't really have anything else scheduled. The only thing else they have really in development is Incredibles 3 and Coco 2. No theatrical date yet, but we do know that's going to be probably 2028 and beyond. For Marvel news, there was a video message shown by the Russo brothers kind of talking about how Avengers Doomsday is their biggest movie yet, which is insane because they also did Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and there's another one after that, so I can't imagine what that looks like. Paul Rudd even photobombed the whole thing. It was a really fun interaction, but it really wasn't a lot of information based on the Avengers Doomsday knowledge or anything else that isn't already kind of publicly known. Outside of the clarification of the whole fight that broke on, I don't even know what's going on with that. There was more footage of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that was shown during this time, and it seemed to be getting a positive reaction. The movie's obviously starring Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, and of course brings back Grogu. But acting alongside Pedro Pascal will be Sigourney Weaver as Ward. She's a veteran Rebel Alliance pilot, as well as Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt. Not the greatest quality of the image, but still crazy to see that little kid coming back from the Clone Wars to this movie. As well as Gareth Zeb, or Zeb Aurelius from Rebels, is making another live action appearance in this movie. The movie sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I thought the show was pretty good, and then it kind of, did its own thing, but still, I think this movie, wrapping up everything in a bow, it's going to be a fun time. A new Ice Age movie was announced, Ice Age 6 Boiling Point, going to be coming out in theaters February 5th, 2027. Didn't know we even needed another one, but hey, what a welcome surprise. A new animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie is going to be coming out on Disney Plus December 5th. I remember the books coming out, let alone an animated movie. And I'd argue that this was the biggest piece of news that people took away from this event, but it was Walt Disney Animation's newest movie, Hexed, set to release November 25th, 2026. The film centers around an oddball teenager and his mother when the pair discovers that the teenager's weirdness is actually hidden magic, and they've been transported to a brand new magical world. And personally, I'm super excited. I think the last movie that Disney animated was Wish, and that movie was 50-50, but I think Disney's animation is making a great comeback, and I'm super excited to see Hexed in theaters. I think it's going to be a damn good time. They also showed the opening sequence of Zootopia 2, which is coming out this November, I believe, November 15th. We also got an announcement that they added 2 new voice actors to the cast. They added Patrick Warburton as the new mayor of Zootopia, Mayor Winddancer, and Yvette Nicole Brown as Baroness Bear and an EMT otter. Those 2 are great. I'm really excited to see them be added to the cast, and I just think this movie's going to be really fun. We also got a new Disney Plus documentary coming out, Disney Handcrafted. It's coming out this winter to Disney Plus and Disney YouTube. And the documentary is going to be showcasing rarely seen footage and hand-picked footage of the construction of Disneyland from the perspective of artists, craftsmen, and Disney Imagineers who built the park more than 70 years ago. I think this is a great move. I think the Imagineers are really underappreciated as an art form and just as artists themselves, and they do a lot of great things, so I really am glad that this is coming out. Now with the entertainment wrapping up, let's go to the parks. Starting off with the first one that I think is going to be happening during the time like this video comes out. The Tron ride at Walt Disney World is going to be experiencing its first layover due to the new release, Tron Ares. And instead of it shining its bright blue, it's going to be going its orange and red, kind of very similar to the new character styles, and I think that's really cool. And not just the outside, it's going to be the cycles themselves that are also glowing red, which totally not jealous about. Not at all. No, just not at all. We also got a good look at the inspiration that the Imagineers are taking from to build the new Villains theme park that's going to be right behind Big Thunder Mountain at Walt Disney World. I think this Villains Land is going to be really fun. I think it's kind of cool that they're really exploring more darker areas of the park, so I think that's going to be just like I said, fun time. Walt Disney's animatronic that was seen in Disneyland is also now going to be added to the Carousel of Progress in Walt Disney World. The animatronic will be added to a brand new introductory scene created for the Carousel of Progress, offering guests a chance to hear from the legendary man who celebrated progress. So while the whole main idea of the Carousel of Progress is still going to remain the same, they're just adding one extra scene to this whole turnstile thing, which I think is kind of creative. I know they did this whole little animatronic thing at Disneyland. It worked more than it didn't, but I think it's a kind of a cool idea. And Cinderella's castle is going to be getting a new paint job at Walt Disney World. I feel like it's going to be more of a vibrant color. I think it's a great idea. And now kind of moving on to the foreign parks. The World of Frozen, a brand new land inspired by the Frozen film franchise, will also be opening in Disneyland Paris in spring of 2026. This is going to be located in the second theme park associated with it, Disney Adventure World. And the name itself, Disney Adventure World, is going to be a rebrand from Walt Disney Studio Park. I think it's great. I feel like Disneyland Paris has been known as to kind of be the most underwhelming one. So I think adding new things to the park and adding new lands, I think it's a great start. And then finally, to wrap up, in September 12th of this year in Hong Kong Disney, they're going to be adding a Moana themed restaurant. The restaurant Wayfinders will be replacing the Tahitian Terrace and will be located near the Moana, a homecoming celebration stage show in Adventureland. And at the same time, Hong Kong is getting a villains party. Uninvited, a villains takeover party is going to be a Halloween specific themed event for that park. That's going to be showcasing a cavalcade, a street show, and a musical performance all in one. It's going to be showcasing a variety of different villains, and I personally am super excited for that, just for the footage. I would love to see that in person. And that show is going to be starting September 19th of this year. So it's not that far. And I know I mentioned the cruises, but there really wasn't a lot of specific details. They talked a lot about the different kind of bars and the different restaurants that are going to be added, the specific types of cruises. There's some images here, but really not a lot of detail was going into that. Overall, I think D23 was still pretty successful. I do wish there was a little bit more information, but overall, I do think there is a lot of things to be excited for. And that'll about wrap up the recap. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment on what you guys are most excited for. Be sure to follow us on our day-to-day on our TikTok and Instagram, all links in the description below. And if you guys are watching here, also check out past episodes of the Tu-Vie podcast, your TV movie entertainment needs podcast, a podcast that goes over all things in Hollywood you need to be excited for. We have the full lineup of seasons 1 through 3 in the playlist section and the current updated playlist for season 4. Be sure to keep an eye out for future episodes, and we'll see you next time.